In today's episode, we'll be going head-to-head hosting the San Francisco 49ers in our first ever primetime game of the franchise. And then we're going to stay home in Lumen Field to get our rematch against the Jacksonville Jaguars and see if we can turn things around. Welcome back, everybody, to the Indianapolis Colts Madden NFL 26 franchise mode. Last episode was a pretty hectic one. We had two games. I know those two games were pretty crazy, but we ended up, in fact, playing against Jacksonville, and we also matched up with the Seattle Seahawks. As I said, welcome back. This is the second game of the new year, by the way, or second episode of the new year. Got a lot planned for Madden 26 as we move forward with this franchise, because as I said, we're going to come out with these episodes a lot faster. As I mentioned, we matched up with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which we ended up having a pretty rough time in it. Daniel Jones didn't play out that well. He was for under 60%. Jonathan Taylor played pretty well, but I feel like that's a given. And the defense just couldn't hold up, and it was no better against the Seattle Seahawks. 4 interceptions from Daniel Jones threw under 150 yards. Sam Darnold didn't play that much better, but I think he played better when you compare him to Daniel Jones. Couldn't stop Kenneth Walker, couldn't really stop the run game, and we couldn't do anything against the defense. Riley Leonard would get his first career touchdown in that matchup, but it still was just a one-sided affair, and now puts us at 6-9 on the year, or 6-8, sorry, on the year. No, 5-8, sorry, it was 5-9, sorry, I'm forgetting. We matched against the 49ers, who are the best team in the NFC West and the third best team overall in the entire NFL. So we got a matchup on our hands in front of the big stage against in front of the big crowd. Talking more about Daniel Jones, he started the year off strong. Came in against the Chargers, had 2 touchdowns. He's had a good performance overall outside of course, the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he had 4 interceptions. But overall, he went pretty consistent, going 3 games without interceptions before the last 2 games he played, and throwing a total of 5. So he's now got 10 interceptions on the year, only throwing interceptions in 4 of them. There's the conversation point on whether or not we should make Riley Leonard the starter for the rest of the year. Right now, I'm too unsure. We haven't really seen what Riley Leonard can do outside of the preseason, and we still are potentially playoff bound. We are 5-9, so the possibilities are not supremely high. But if we can win every other game to this point, Jacksonville can lose, then there is a possibility that we could outbeat Jacksonville in the playoff race, considering we also play them next week after we play the 49ers. So there is a possibility the Texans are right there as well. So at the end of the day, it all depends on how things go in these last 3 games of the regular season. It's all about winning. This is where the games matter the most. But Trevor Bennett's got a press conference with the press. And basically they're saying that they don't think we have what it takes to be a head coach. Mind you, this is our rookie year number 1. They're saying we don't know how to be a head coach. They're wondering how, if we're able to do our jobs. Colts are 5-9, so they're not winning a lot of games, and we've been very inconsistent throughout the year. So it makes sense. The Ford is obviously trying to rile up the young man Trevor Bailey. But he just need to take what it is, or take what they say, and just say, you know what, you're right. Maybe we don't know how to do our job. At the end of the day, we're just trying to win football games. So just take it in stride. That's how you gotta do it in the NFL. We are going to look at injuries. We haven't really had a lot of injuries. The biggest one we have is obviously to Cameron Bynum, who is out for the rest of the year. Huge injury to him. Other than that, no big names. Most of these guys that are injured have not played really at all. As for San Francisco, they've got 2 big injuries on the roster pool. One of them, of course, being not Brandon Ayuk, he's actually just came back from injury. But Michael Williams, who's a big part of their defense, he's out for this game at least. And Christian McCaffrey, who has had quite the down year. He's also been very injury prone throughout the late stages of his career. So they're going to be out one of their best players on offense. He's had a down year. Same with George Kittle, who's only got 400 receiving yards up to this point of the season, despite how good the 49ers have been. So I guess it goes to show you don't need your best receiver on the team to play great. Brock Purdy, he's had, I'd argue, a pretty great year, breakout year. 30 touchdowns up to this point with just 3 games left. He's only thrown 6 interceptions. He's under 3,000 yards though, which is kind of a shocker. And he's had a lot of games where he's looked pretty consistent. Had a short stint of games where he's thrown at least a pick. Other than that, he's been clean and the team has been winning. Nick Bosa, a big part of their defense. This team all around the 49ers is a really good team on paper. How they're going to do in the future based on contracts and things like that, we don't know. There's also Fred Warner, who's also another big part of their defense, someone we're going to have to look out for, especially with how our offense has struggled, especially in the last 2 games.
EA Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
But here we go, guys. It is week number 15 as we host a Monday night primetime game, the first of the series, and a big one at that, as this Indianapolis Colts will take on the San Francisco 49ers. It's a big one. Hopefully we get to see more primetime games, because I love how Madden 26 has really changed these presentations and things like that to make these primetime games feel a lot more special and a lot more different than the regular Sunday games we're used to. But here we go, the way to kick off, or to end off, I guess, week number 16 in the 2025 season. This kick return will be taken to about the 25-yard line. Here is Brock Purdy, who's had a really solid season. A little bit under 3,000 yards, but 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions is nothing to scoff at. He's been almost perfect this year, dare I say. Might be me glazing, but I mean, stats don't lie. First play, Brock Purdy's going to back up. He'll kick it to the outside to Ricky Pearsall. And he's their number 1 target, so we're going to have to look out for 100 yards last week with 7 catches. And he's their leading receiver. If it's not Kittle, it's him. Brian Robinson to run this ball. He is taken down. Loss of about 5 there. Defense left him with no room to do much. It's now 3rd down. Colts with an opportunity to end it fast. Show a lot of pressure, but it won't work, as the pass is complete to the former Saint Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And San Francisco starts to move the chains. But it's 3rd and 9 now, and the Colts, you know them, they struggle on stopping 3rd downs, and they'll do it here as Purdy, a lot of time in the pocket, finds his man George Kittle to yet again move the chains and get a 1st down. Now 1st down again, handoff to Kyle Juszczyk, who's playing 2nd string behind Brian Robinson with the injury to Christian McCaffrey. And they will get a short gain of about almost nothing, but a 2nd and 4, they're in Colts territory, about the 36. They'll find George Kittle right up the middle for another San Francisco 49er 1st down. Colts right now struggling defensively. That's something they've done all year. Play action fake, and that's fired near the end zone. And that's to Ricky Pearsall again. He is short at the 1. And that's a great pass by Brock Purdy. Move the chains, 1st and goal. Can't get stopped here, except it's a fumble by Brock Purdy, I believe. Scooped up by Nick Cross. And the Colts will take possession at the 1-yard line. Well, technically around the 5-10-yard line. But that's a costly fumble. It is going to be at the 10. And I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Daniel Jones will come on the field. The last 2 games was a struggle for him. But we'll look at this again. It seemed like it was a run attempt meant for Kyle Juszczyk. But Brock Purdy took the snap. And I think it actually might meant to be a toss play for Brian Robinson. And Kyle Juszczyk, a little bit of miscommunication between everyone. Juszczyk got in the way of the toss. Purdy tossed it way too early. And Nick Cross is taking advantage, stepped up. It's probably going to be a fumble on Purdy. But now the Colts offense will take the field, and Jonathan Taylor will run it right up the gut for an easy 1st down to start the day out for Indianapolis. They already got a fumble. They turned the season around when it came to turnovers after the first half of the year when they only had 4. Ever since they beat the Titans, the defense has been pretty solid in that regard. Another run for Taylor. The outside this time, he'll get another first down. The air attack has been quite a struggle for Indianapolis in the later stages of the year, so hopefully they can find their groove there. Throwing it outside to Mo Ali Cox, and he will be a yard short of the first down marker. It's now 3rd and 1. And they'll kick this one to Taylor yet again, and he'll find his way up the gut, or up in between blockers, the 44-yard line, I believe. As the Colts offense will stay on the field. The run game has been amazing for them. Throwing it to the outside, and that is incomplete. There is a late flag, and it's on San Francisco for DPI, defensive pass interference, on the former Charger, Asante Samuel. A costly penalty there for the 49ers as it moves the Colts forward anyways. Play fake by Daniel Jones, fires it up the middle to Mo Ali Cox for the first down. A nice throw and a great route by Mo Ali Cox, and now a chance for the Colts to get 6 on the board first. Jones to throw out to Jonathan Taylor. He takes a shot. He's been taking those kinds of hits all year. Surprisingly, he only has 3 fumbles up to this point. Loses X Factor. Jones up the middle. It's to Mo Ali Cox, and they rule it a touchdown. So on the Colts' first drive of the day, or of the night, I should say, it is a touchdown to the seemingly starting tight end, Mo Ali Cox. And it didn't look like it at first, and the game didn't register it until only after he got tackled. As looking to replay again, he might have broken the plane there. Hard to say. We'll review it again. Pressure's there in front of Jones, gets rid of it to Mo Ali Cox, and upon further review, I think as he was getting tackled, he went past the plane. He got the ball past the plane, which is that white line, so it does look like it is a touchdown. The Colts would make the extra point, and they'll kick it off back to San Francisco for another chance to seemingly now have to tie the game up. It's a decent return, as Ricky Pearsall leads the receiving core, or receivers, in touchdowns with 17. All receivers, I just say, not receiving core, but leads all receivers with 17 touchdowns. Like I said, he's been the #1 target, and a big reason why Brock Purdy has 30 touchdowns. Robinson nowhere to go on that run. 3rd and 7 now. Pressure coming, but Brock Purdy doesn't care. Finds his target at the 45-yard line for another San Francisco 49ers first down. That will close out the first quarter. And it is glitched, but the Colts do lead 7-0. The scoreboard looked glitched because they showed that apparently San Francisco was up, which obviously isn't accurate, but doesn't matter. Not a lot of offense played on either side, considering it's only been two and a half drives at this point. The 49ers looking to tie this ball game up, and another successful throw up the middle as Marquez Valdes-Scantling again for another first. 2nd and 2, they'll give it to Robinson right up the middle. Great blocking up ahead. He's going to move the chains. Another play. Purdy hands it off to Robinson on the outside, and that's just an amazing wrap up by Nick Cross. If he doesn't make that tackle, that's probably a touchdown. And 49ers tied this ball game up. 3rd and 10, Purdy with time. He's going to run out the pocket and slide. And they'll just take their yards. So now it's 4th and 6, and they'll just take the field goal. And now it's a 7-3 ball game. Screenplay for Jonathan Taylor, and unfortunately won't get it on 3rd down as the Colts go 3 down on their 2nd drive of the day. And the 49ers will retake possession at the 37-yard line. Hand off to Thomas, and no room to run. So far, it's been a bit of a struggle for him to run this football and break free. Now it's 3rd and 6. Purdy will throw, checks it down to Brian Robinson, and it will be a first down. Nice 3rd down conversion. First and 10, wide open is Kyle Juszczyk. Will get 10 plus yards for the first down. Nice to see the 49ers are really utilizing the fullback Kyle Juszczyk, showing not only him as a vet and his experience, but showing that he can play well even at his position that a lot of people think isn't really all that important. Second down now for Purdy. Almost hit as he throws, and he throws an interception to Travarius Ford. And how poetic is this? To the 15-10 in the end zone, pick six for the former 49er. In his, I believe, his first game against his former team. And it's a pick six, a bad throw by Brock Purdy. Travarius Ward was covering Ricky Pearsall all the way. And it's like Purdy never even saw him. I think that might be our second defensive touchdown of the season. It's now 14-3 in favor of us. So now 49ers down a big way. But a nice play there by Brock Purdy to get it to a wide open Ricky Pearsall. I don't know if it's Pearsall or Pearsall, but then again, I'm not great with names. But 3rd and 2, a little under 3 minutes left. That's a great second effort by the receiver. I don't know who he is. And that's another 49ers first down. Finding it kind of hard to stop this team making big plays, and that's just another one of them. Great pass by Purdy, put in a place where only Pearsall could get it. Inside the 2-minute warning now. 49ers still have all 3 of their timeouts to use and finds an open George Kittle up the middle. And now 49ers are at the 4-yard line. Still with a little under a minute left. Purdy to throw on the outside, and it's wide open. And the 49ers will get their first touchdown of the game. That's to Jawan Jennings. As San Francisco tries to cut into this deficit. Looked pretty much perfect on that drive. A little 2-minute warning drive. The Colts got a little bit of time to work with, and that's a tough catch by Josh Downs on that play. And the Colts will use one of their timeouts. A huge play by Josh Downs, whose name we haven't heard much these last few games. It's now 1st and 10, past midfield. Colts trying to get into field goal territory, and Michael Pittman shakes off the defender and will help them do just that. Use their last timeout. The Colts now with the field goal, not too far to make this a touchdown game again, and it will be just that. Spencer Schrader. The kick is good, and that will end the half. Colts lead 17-10 after a pretty solid defensive outing on the first half of the game. But 49ers offense has been there, but the turnovers have been costly. They have only 2, but it's a important 2. That could have been, that could easily turn this to a 24-10 game. Around the league, the Dolphins and the Bengals matchup. Every game has finished besides ours, so we're the last game of the week. And the Bengals and Joe Burrow take down the Tua-led Dolphins. A huge win for the Cincinnati Bengals that pushes their playoff hopes just a little bit more. Steelers and the Lions. The Steelers have turned around their lackluster season, looking to kind of finish it strong. The Lions need to win here to make some type of playoff race, and a nice throw at the back of the end zone to Amon-Ra St. Brown, as the Lions will hold out and win and keep their playoff hopes alive in the NFC race. And finally, the Raiders and the Texans never made that big trade back in Week 8 for Colton Miller. The Raiders got a lot of draft picks, and the Raiders end up taking this one. A huge run for Ashton Genty at about the 30-yard line. They absolutely thrashed the Texans. So seemingly that trade has worked in the favor of the Raiders, who are playoff bound. They're currently ranked 7th in the wild card. We're pretty backed up. This win could help us, but the window is not fairly open, and we can't make any more mistakes than this. This game, it's been all about defense, despite what the score suggests. It's been our defense forcing 2 turnovers and stopping this run game, although Brock Purdy has done almost whatever he wants. They've been near the end zone a few times, but like I said, the turnovers have basically kept the 49ers out of it. Without those, it could potentially be a 24-17, 24-10 ball game. So give credit to this Colts defense for stepping up as we start the second half and hands it off to Jonathan Taylor immediately, who's comes his half only with rush number 4 of the entire game. So it just goes to show how much we have, and the offense hasn't been on the field. Nice play fake. Nick Bosa was chasing Jonathan Taylor, so it led to Jones having enough time to throw this football. And now 3rd and 6, Daniel Jones to throw, buying some time, finds his receiver on the outside. There's Tyler Warren, and now decision-making time for Indianapolis. And they'll just opt to kick the long field goal about 50 yards deep, and Schrader will kick it and make it again. So 20-10 to kick off the second half of the game. Now 49ers offense is back on the field. Been on the field for quite a long time and haven't done much. Or they've done a lot, just made very key mistakes. A negative play for Brian Robinson, and following up with a pass on the outside to Jawan Jennings to get most of that yardage back. And it forces a 3rd and 2 for Purdy and the 49ers. Purdy will back up, trying to buy some time, wide open. He finds his target, a lot of running room, to Jawan Jennings again. And now 49ers find themselves inside the 30. I'm not sure how he just ended up just that wide open, and how he ended up with a lot of running room. That's a huge mistake by this Colts defense, something that they've kind of been making all game despite the turnovers. 3rd and 8, can the 49ers get it? They will, as Ricky Pearsall falls forward, and another 3rd down conversion given up by the Colts. It's been like this all season. 3rd and 11 now, chance to do it again. Purdy fires it in the end zone, incomplete. It was a good throw, but coverage was there. And they'll just take their field goal and make it a 20-13 ball game. Slip screen for Jonathan Taylor, shakes off the tackle from Nick Bosa from behind, and turns what should have been a negative play to a 1st down. This goes to show the strength and effort by Jonathan Taylor. 2nd and 10, handed off again on the outside, outruns the defender, and he'll take it to the 35-yard line. You see he's got 7 touches for 75 yards. He hasn't touched the ball, at least running-wise, way too much. But he's making use of the touches that he is getting. An RPO play, and there's a huge stop on Jonathan Taylor, the first that the 49ers have gotten all day. This time showing up a lot of pressure, and backs the Colts up just a little bit more. It's 3rd and 9 now. Trying to convert. They'll just hand this one off to Taylor, play it safe, to try to at least guarantee them some points, at least a field goal. Schrader to kick it again, and he is good yet again. His 3rd made kick of the game. Schrader so far this season one of the best when it comes to kicking field goals, and it's a 10-point game yet again. So now it's San Francisco's turn to try to cut into this deficit. They need to. They haven't led in this game at all yet. And this won't help as he sacked JT Tuimoloau. I keep messing his name up. I told you I'm going to. But he's got the sack, 1 sack on the day. But Purdy didn't let it shake him as he finds Jawan Jennings covered by Charvarius Ward. Ward just a little bit away from him. Good job by Jennings to create space. Then Kyle Juszczyk running up the middle, runs over Chad Muma. That's a tough 10 yards. Now, like I said again, I like how they're utilizing Kyle Juszczyk in this game. Losing Christian McCaffrey, you gotta get some big playmaker, and Brian Robinson isn't getting it done. They put a man in motion. It's a short game. That was Juszczyk again, but Zaire Franklin keeping an eye on him the entire time. That forces the 49ers to kick a field goal. Daniel Jones checks it down. It's a 1st down with a little under 10 minutes left to go in this ball game. Defense or Indianapolis has been doing a great job at holding out, and as soon as I say that, it's picked off at about midfield by Fred Warner. Someone we said is going to be a problem. He hasn't really been all game, but he's going to force the turnover by Daniel Jones. That's his 11th on the season. And that time, just a bad decision. Fred Warner reading the middle of the field. And you're going to pass it, you got to watch out for him. So 49ers with great field position. They'll toss this one to Robinson. He finds a hole in the defense. And he is down at the 21-yard line. The 49ers, they need this drive. They need 7 out of it. They can't afford to keep kicking field goals or turning the ball over. And out to Robinson this time again. And he is taken down. Getting half the yardage needed. Use check in motion again. They will find him. But that's loss of 5. Travarius Ward with the hit. It's like they didn't gain anything on that play. So I like the idea of putting him in motion. It shows the versatility Juszczyk has. But they need a first down here. Can't be affording trick plays like that. 3rd and 10. It's not a trick play, I know. But 3rd and 10. Purdy to throw. Wide open is George Kittle. In the zone coverage. Left him with too much space. It's now 2nd and goal. Purdy to throw. And he'll call his own number. Use his own legs. And Brock Purdy, inside the white and blue, will score it himself. And help this team cut into this deficit. Trying to make it a 3-point game. With the extra point. And it is going to be good right up the middle. And it's now a 23-20 lead for the Colts. With a little bit of time, it's under 5 minutes left to go. So you got time to waste. 3rd and 1, trying to get the first down. It's to DJ Giddens, the rookie running back, whose name we haven't called a lot, but gets the first down there. 2nd and 10, Jones will throw, avoids the sack by Bosa. He'll run away, 1st down and a lot more at the 35-yard line. Great play by Daniel Jones. Not many people can shake off a tackle by Bosa, and then he fires it up the middle to Tyler Warren. Back-to-back great plays by Daniel Jones. He's been inconsistent, but he's been making some big plays this year for us when he needs to. And those are just 2 of them. Now he's going to route the pocket, and he will miss Jonathan Taylor. Probably wouldn't have gotten the first down anyway. But another field goal now for Spencer Schrader. This one a lot closer, and it is good. So it's back to a touchdown game. San Francisco with 2:40 plus left with the timeout and a 2-minute warning. This returns to the 23-yard line. Now it's up to Brock Purdy to see if he can save this game for San Francisco to make them an 11-win team. Purdy with time to throw. He is sacked for the 2nd time today. And that is Latu Latu for a short loss. So Purdy backs up again. He finds Robinson underneath for a gain of 12-13 yards. They're now at the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 1, and Purdy is sacked. Yet again, it's the linebacker Chad Muma. He has made a few big plays this year, and that might be one of the bigger ones. So now they have to get it on 4th down. Purdy fires it up the middle, finds his target, and that will allow the 49ers to keep it alive for the moment. 1:20 and counting. Purdy to throw up the middle yet again, and he finds another target. It's Ricky Pearsall. The Colts are leading the middle of the field absolutely open, making too many mistakes there. Purdy to hurry up. We're reaching the minute warning now. Purdy to throw, finds George Kittle in one-on-one coverage, and they'll rush again. They still have a timeout to use, so they can afford this, and they're gonna kneel it. And don't know how I feel about that. It risks a down, but that means they can take their time now. They're in midfield. So I guess I do personally like that play call. Purdy is sacked again, however, for the 4th time today. And I think the 3rd time this drive. And it's now 4th. They're going to try to hurry up, but the Colts will use their first timeout to regroup. 4th and 13. Brock Purdy downfield passes incomplete. Batted away by Travarius Ward. And that's going to do it for the 49ers. That could have been caught for sure. Not the best decision by Travarius Ward. If Brock Purdy puts a little bit more air on it and passes a little bit more ahead, that's possibly a touchdown. But the Colts will escape, beating one of the best teams in the entire NFL in the 49ers. And they'll fall to 10-5. But the Colts will jump to a 6-9 team. Nice. Beating out one of the best. Brock Purdy didn't have an amazing performance in this one. He kind of struggled in this one. 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. He had a rushing touchdown, but he threw over 300 yards. And that play was one of the biggest ones. Travarius Ward, how poetic. He picks that ball off against his former squad on a team he probably wishes he was on. I don't know for sure. Obviously, we had the big interception to Fred Warner that could have easily turned this game around in the 49ers' favor, but luckily, that was not the case. A better game for Daniel Jones, even though the yardage wasn't completely there. The completion percentage was, and sometimes you don't need guys to throw up. We don't need a guy like Daniel Jones to do too much to win ball games when we got Jonathan Taylor and a defense, when they perform well, like the one that we have. One thing I want to note about this game, I mentioned the offense and defensive possession. We only had our offense on the field for 17 minutes. There's 30, so they almost doubled the time our offense was on the field. Hence why you see Jonathan Taylor didn't have that many touches in this game. He went into the second half with only 3 and he had 10 more. But Ryan Robinson really struggled in this game. He only had a few runs where he really broke free. They had a total of 50 yards. The receiving team was there. Kittle, Jawan Jennings, Pearsall doing their job. Our receiving numbers aren't really going to be there for the most part because our pass game wasn't really there. But still, the offense did a great job at playing their part. I say the defense really held it together for us. Travarius Ward with the interception. We had the sacks late in the game, especially in the second half because we couldn't really get them in the first half. And really holding that ground game to force them to have to build football. Like I said, I think if the turnovers didn't come into play, we probably would lose that game. Well, let's get into the weekly recap for week number 16. We're closing in the end of the year. Getting pretty exciting at this point. But the 49ers visit Lucas Oil Stadium. I think I called it Lumen Field earlier because I'm an idiot. To play against the Colts on Monday Night Football. And in a surprising end, the Colts end up besting the 49ers 26-20. The 49ers fall to 10-5. They'll likely still be a playoff team regardless, but that's a tough pill to swallow. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos. Jacksonville, who we'll see next week, or I guess this week. Bo Nix ends up getting the best of Trevor Lawrence. This is a potential playoff matchup if Jacksonville can keep it together. But battling out in the AFC West, the Broncos will win as they try to fight for the playoffs and try to take over the Chargers and the Raiders in the playoff race. And then finally, the Vikings, my glorious Vikings, taking on the New York Giants, and it doesn't end in a way that I would love. It's Jackson Dart who ends up besting the Vikings 13-7, a low-scoring affair in MetLife Stadium. And a huge loss for the Vikings with huge playoff implications. You know, we're going to keep talking about that as it's the end of the year. So winning and losing games matters just that much. Let's look a little bit closer at the standings at this point. A few more teams clinch the playoffs. The Bills, as well as the Chargers and Patriots, all clinched the playoffs. I think the Broncos were in it before. But I believe it's 3 more teams, because I'm pretty sure the Ravens and one other team were the only ones there. But I'm probably wrong, but don't quote me on that. We'll look at the Jaguars who we play against next. They're currently ranked number 7, only trailing the Raiders. So a win might clinch them the playoffs for sure because they'll win the division. Last time he matched up with this team, it was a closer game than the score, or it was probably more of a one-sided game than the score actually suggests. It was a close loss, but I think the Jacksonville Jaguars realistically kind of torched us. Last two games, they did lose to both the Jets, surprisingly, and the Broncos. They've got two more games against us and the Titans, so key games that they have to win because they're both divisional games. Also, I haven't showcased these, but Javarius Ward ended up winning the AFC Defensive Player of the Week with the 7 tackles and the pick 6. And coaches wonder, or Garrett Pratt is wondering, how do we exploit this Jacksonville defense? We weren't able to do so last time we played, obviously. Like I said, I know the score suggests otherwise, but those are late game heroics, if nothing else. Pratt doesn't agree with our decision to focus on running the football because I think it's better for us to try to focus on what our strength lies versus us trying to do something else like forcing the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones, being that the pass game has been a struggle fest for the most part of the second half of the season, at least the late half of the second half, late stages of the second half of the season. But the goal is officially to get Jonathan Taylor 100 plus yards and at least one touchdown. And I am going to make one huge change. Tyler Warren is going to be back to being the starting tight end. And we're going to put Adonai Mitchell back into the lineup. We haven't really played much of him since. We haven't really played too much of him since he was benched for Tyler Warren. And it would be good to see him back on the field. He's a receiver that I do like to see. Obviously, Tyler Warren being on the receiving was an experiment. It was a good experiment. It won't be the last time we see him playing the receiver spot, for sure. But with it being late in the year, we kind of want to switch these lineups up. We are not essentially out of the playoffs at this point. We're 6-19. Nice. Taking on the 8-7 Jaguars as we're gearing up for week number 17. See if we can get revenge on Jacksonville after the week 15 loss. This will be returned to about the 24-yard line, and Trevor Lawrence, second time seeing him, 26-11 touchdown to interception ratio. He's had a good year leading this Jacksonville team to a potential playoff run. They need this game here. Bashaw Tutton is starting this game. No Travis Etienne. See, he hasn't really came back since the injury he suffered with us. But Tutton has been picking up the slack, 95 yards in the loss to the Broncos last week. So he's been pretty much fine for the most part, as Lawrence finds Brian Thomas on the left side of the field for a first down at the 46-yard line. And he was a big reason why we couldn't beat this team, because we just couldn't cover Brian Thomas. Lawrence will escape, throws it away, and somehow avoid the pressure. Our goal is to put pressure on Trevor Lawrence in this game and force bad throws. 3rd and 7, and it almost works there, but pass is interrupted by Javarius Ward. Couldn't come down safely with it. So it is a good play by the secondary. But the goal of this game, like I said, is to force pressure on Lawrence to make him make bad throws. If you can't stop him from throwing it, at least make it so where he's uncomfortable. And this will be set at the 4, so probably would have been better if we tried to return that football. Daniel Jones again had a solid game against the 49ers on Primetime. Nothing amazing, but I wouldn't call it terrible. Trying to turn the late stages of the season around. 3rd and 5, nowhere for Jonathan Taylor to go. It's Andrew Wingard who makes the tackle. It's a 3 and out now for the Indianapolis Colts. That they kick it inside their own 10. And enough room to return it to the 45 yard line. As the Jacksonville Jaguars are set up with good field position. Quick throw is intercepted. Kenny Moore picks off Trevor Lawrence. Not Travis, Trevor Lawrence. And that's interception number 12 for Lawrence. And I think it's number 3 for Moore. I haven't really been keeping up because I'm bad at this stuff. But Kenny Moore picks the ball off. Most of our interceptions have come on throws like that. It's just random overthrows. We're not going to complain. Jones with no time to throw that football. Pressure in his face. Devin Lloyd forces the incompletion. And Jags last game were putting a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones. And there's a late flag and an interception thrown by Daniel Jones. And it ended up being a holding call on the offense. It's Bernard Raymond. I don't know how to say his last name. And Jones made a bad throw anyways. So Jacksonville would immediately get this ball back. Fake handoff by Lawrence. Room to run down at the 36, 35-yard line. And a 20-yard gain for Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville trying to get their first touchdown of the day. Lawrence will fire it incomplete. Kenny Moore looking for his second interception of the day. That would have been great. Tutton gets the handoff, and he will get the first down at the 14-yard line. If they get a little bit closer. Lawrence, he will hand this one off to Tutton. And that's a nice 9-yard track run. As the Jacksonville Jaguars look to reset the downs. Put more pressure on the Colts. 3rd and 3, Lawrence to throw in the end zone. It's caught by Brian Thomas. And Jacksonville will indeed fire first, as the defender left him with way too much room inside. It's now 7-0. Jacksonville. Pressure almost got to Jones. He'll run away. Nice adjustment. He's been able to do those pretty well all year. A new set of downs. 2nd and 6. Screenplay for Jonathan Taylor. We call those a lot for him. That's because we rely on him to make the tough plays, because he can. 1st and 10. Jones to throw. Heaves on the right side. That is caught by Tyler Warren. That's a first down. An amazing throw by Jones, but a great effort by Warren. Nice job. Jones put it in a spot where only Warren could get it in almost double coverage. Covered by Devin Lloyd, who's one of the better linebackers when it comes to playing the pass, I should say. The following play is a 8-yard loss for Jonathan Taylor. Defense is ready to stop it. And will take the pass, and a nice effort by Jonathan Taylor on the very next play. And we'll have to settle for 3, unfortunately. And then hand off to Tutton, and this time it's JT Tuimalu who gets the stop. Acts as a brick wall and stuffs him for 4. Calling his name a lot. I'd argue he's possibly Defensive Rookie of the Year for the AFC this year. As Tutton with the great play. Nice spin move, and that's a first down for him. 2nd and inches now. Outside handoff to Tutton. He's got room to go. Another nice spin move. And he's down at the 37 or 27-yard line. Jasper looks to make it a 14-3 game, and another handoff to Tutton, and JT Tuimalu can't get to him. 2nd and 6, fires it to the left side, finds Brenton Strange as he marches his way into the end zone. It's now a 13-3 ball game. And it was a blitz on the same side he was on, so Strange was wide open the moment he got off the play. So Colts offense back on the field. Jacksonville showing a lot of pressure. And it's only a gain of 4. It's been a struggle for Taylor so far. Hasn't really been able to free himself up. As it's 3rd and a few yards, and there's Josh Downs who makes the catch near the sideline. 2nd and 8. Taylor again. This time he gets free. Great block by Michael Pittman, allowing him to get a little bit extra. As the Colts try to push ahead. Play fake. And that pass is caught by Mo Ali Cox. Had to take a hit. He seems to be alright. But that was a tough catch. It was a running throw by Jones. He ran into his own traffic. Both of them ran into trucks. But somehow that makes that play complete. And then they follow up with a 6-yard gain. For a 2nd and 4. The Colts, they need 6 to kind of get themselves in this game. Hand off to Giddens, and he's untouched till he basically reaches the end zone. And DJ Giddens with a nice handoff, trying to get in the ball a little bit more. It's now a 14-10 ball game. Great play call by Trevor Bailey. As it's a jet sweep for Travis Hunter. He'll outrun Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who just tries to cut off any sort of juke move, but probably not the smart decision. Should just try to go after him. Move the chains next to Bayshaw Tutton. He'll get 5 yards. He's already torching this Colts defense. And they'll try to get it to him again, but this time the defense is ready. Kalijah Cansey makes a solid play around the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 11. Lawrence will back this one up, trying to throw. He's got time. Great job with the offensive line, and incomplete for Robinson. The secondary there for the second effort. And it's Cam Little who's going to kick this one from the 36. And he almost missed it. Misjudged the win, seemingly, but he does make it at 17-10 now. You know, Cam Little, he's going to make most of those plays. As Jones finds Jonathan Taylor, he was wide open. They're going to trust in him to make the necessary plays. 2nd and 9, they'll give it to him. Nice job breaking off a tackle, and he will get the first down. Nice job by Wingard to prevent much more than that. RPO play, and that is intercepted again. And speaking of Wingard, he's the one that picks this ball off. And that's not a bad throw by Daniel Jones. It's tight. It's a very tight window. I think he throws it a little bit too far ahead in a position where Josh Downs has to reach for it. And it's just a little bit too far, and Wingard makes that play. So the second pick already by Daniel Jones in this game. Kenny Moore, I don't know where he was looking, but it allows Hunter to make that catch. And then a nice throw to Tutton, but Zaire Franklin just being there with enough contact to make him go out of bounds. It's 3rd and 12 now, or 3rd and 13. Trevor Lawrence is taken down to the ground by Kalijah Cansey. And it's a loss of 6 for Jacksonville, as the Colts will retake possession. Hopefully trying to shake off those 2 interceptions by Jones. He's now got, I believe, 13 on the year with those 2. Nowhere to go for Jonathan Taylor, though. As it is now 2nd and 10, they'll let the clock run. Jones trying to throw. He finds Tyler Warren, who takes a hit. Now I can see him take many of those hits. And then bad clock management by Trevor Bailey, as he'll have to call a timeout only after calling a play. At least about 25 seconds left on the clock, and then a bad throw by Jones. Josh Downs was going to cut a lot earlier. So overall, a pretty messy drive. Last drive of the first half for the Colts. And Tutton is taken down. Nice tackle by Jalen Jones, preventing Tutton from getting much more. That felt like a pretty quick first half, but it is 17-10. And it does feel like still a one-sided affair despite what the score suggests. Our offense hasn't done much. It's been a struggle. Around the league, we see the Cardinals and the Bengals go head-to-head. A important matchup for both squads as both teams try to push for the playoffs. And it's Kyler Murray-led Cardinals who lose on the road to the Bengals, who are fighting in the AFC playoffs. There's only 2 spots left, so every game matters. The Chargers and the Texans are officially eliminated after losing last week to the Raiders, and it isn't going to get much better as they lose again to the Chargers, 29-24. Chargers trying to win out in the AFC West. They're battling out with the Broncos and the Raiders, and this win for sure is going to help them. And finally, the Ravens are going to visit Lombardi Stadium to take on the Green Bay Packers, a potential Super Bowl matchup as well. The Ravens lead the AFC, and they are doing it for a reason. Jackson runs from about the 30-yard line all the way into the end zone in snow, by the way. And the Packers at home will lose 30-24. A key loss for the Packers. Shouldn't take them out of the playoffs, but you never really know. The AFC playoff picture, and this game has huge playoff implications, especially for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they win here, they clinch the AFC South. Sorry, I always forget what division. If they lose here, they're not exactly out of the playoffs, but it is a huge loss for them to take at this point of the season. But it's been mostly all Jacksonville. I know the score is 17-10, and it's only 7 points, but it feels like we haven't done as much as we should. Similar situation to last week against the 49ers. The turnovers are keeping us out of this game. We'll see if we can turn it around in the second half as we start with the football. We'll start with the football as Daniel Jones, he's taken down to the ground, loss of some yardage. He actually got rid of it, I think. I thought it was a sack. He actually got rid of it. And it fires up the middle to Tyler Warren for a Colts first down. I think he had the football. I'm not entirely sure, but doesn't matter. 2nd and 10. That's a nice throw. Trying to find Adonai Mitchell, and the ball is forced out. So now 3rd down and 10. Finds Jonathan Taylor, and he'll get 8, but can't shake off the tackle from Travis Hunter. And the Colts are going to go for it on 4th and 2. All or nothing. They don't want this Jacksonville offense to come on the field with momentum. But if they don't get it, they certainly will. Hand off to Taylor, and it's enough, more than enough, in fact, as he just breaks through the hole and gets a first down. 1st and 10 at the 39. Jones to throw it into the end zone. It's incomplete, meant for downs. Made a play earlier, thought he could do it again. Josh Downs had a big play the last time these two met. It was late in the game when this game was ultimately one-sided, but it happened. It was Ryan Leonard who threw that football. 3rd and 12. Jones up the middle. Nice play by, I'm going to forget his name. Foyesade. I messed up his name up. Olokun. Baited out Mo Ali Cox. Thought he was open, and he really wasn't. And 3rd and 11. Nice stop by the Colts defense. Forcing them 3 out of the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And now they need some momentum. Daniel Jones, fakes the handoff, falls the block by Downs. He's got a chance, and he won't get there. But down at the 16-yard line is Daniel Jones. Fakes the handoff to Taylor. The defense was ready for it, not expecting Jones to run it with him himself. Now 1st and 10. Now they'll give it to Jonathan Taylor, and he'll get half the yardage needed as they are 8 yards away from the end zone. 2nd and 2. And Jones, he will hand this one off. Then it's Olokun. Basically shot out of a cannon, will destroy Jonathan Taylor. Loss of a yard. They'll give it to him again, and a big mistake as Josh Hines Allen is there to force a loss of 2. And the run game continues to struggle. Spencer Schrader will make the field goal, so it's now a 17-13 ball game. Still in favor of Jacksonville. They went out sad on their last drive. Not looking to do it here is Tutton. Nice adjustment, running it to the right side. Or up the middle, sure. He's getting to the 36-yard line. Trevor Lawrence to throw. Passes incomplete. And then Tutton is shaken up on the field, favoring his right arm. And hopefully for Jacksonville, he's okay. I wanted to see if he actually caught this pass, and Travis Hunter actually caught this throw. It was not in bounds. They ruled it incomplete. But I wanted to see if that was the case. A tough catch by Travis Hunter in one-on-one coverage with Travarius Ward, one of the best corners in the league. And you could argue his toes on the right foot barely went out of bounds. But that's a crazy catch, even if it wasn't ruled complete, even if it's not going to be in the history books or anything. But Trevor Lawrence will check it down for only a yard, so The Colts with another opportunity to get a huge stop to get this offense back on the field. Lawrence will find Ryan Thomas, shakes off the tackle from Rodney Thomas, spins away from pressure, and it's a huge first down that saves this drive for Jacksonville. And if you're Rodney Thomas, you have to make that tackle. You can't miss it. Wrap him up. Zaire Franklin was right behind him. Just wasn't able to adjust and make that second effort. And now with Tank Bigsby in the game, because Tutton is out for the moment, Bigsby gets a first down. He's considered, I think, the third or fourth string running back on his team, which is a little odd. Lawrence to throw wide open is Brian Thomas, and he almost breaks the tackle from Jones, but he will not. So for the moment, Indianapolis prevents 6. Hand off to Bigsby. Nice movement up the middle. And down at the 1-yard line. How are these guys always taking Dean down at the 1-yard line? Like, this is scripted. The first and goal, any and every opportunity for Jacksonville. And that was not one of them. It's Rodney Thomas who gets the sack. But we needed you to make a tackle earlier, big fella. But either way, it's a 17-13 game. Jacksonville has it in the red zone. So scary hours for the Colts. That's a tough play. And a tough pill to swallow if you're the Colts. You think that should have been a completed pass. Fourth quarter time, Trevor Lawrence finds his target, and it's LaQuint Allen, the third string running back, currently second behind Bashaw Tutton, in the end zone. It's now a 24-13 game. This game seemingly getting out of reach for the Colts, and Jones fires it to the left side of the field, finds his target for a first down. That is a pretty crazy throw. First and 10, meant for Mitchell, incomplete. Olokun is there with the contact and with enough pressure to force the ball out. Screenplay for Taylor. He shakes away, gets to the 40-yard line. As a yard show to the first down marker, the Colts are going to hurry up, put pressure on the Jacksonville Jaguars, hand it off to Taylor, and that's going to work for a first down, and the Colts are going to stay on it. Hurry up. Don't let Jacksonville adjust. First and 10, throws it to the left side. That's caught by Downs. Great wrap-up by Olokun, preventing anything more. Second and 6, finds Taylor up the middle. Another first down, and again, the Colts are going to just hurry it up. Don't let the Jacksonville Jaguars adjust what's going on. It's a heavy blitz, and it's another incompletion on another tight throw. Andrew Wingard celebrating like he won the Super Bowl. Second and 10, going to left side, finds Anthony Gould, who dropped the pass earlier. It was knocked out, but dropped that pass earlier. His first reception of the year. And then it's a handoff to Taylor again. And the Colts are getting their yards in short stints, but they need some type of big play. But still plenty of time, so they don't have to force anything. Handoff to Taylor, and he is short the first down marker. The Colts got to make a big decision here. Do you go for it on 4th and 1? Or are you trusting your defense? And no, just take the 3 points and trust that their defense can get it done. And Spencer Schrader who makes the short kick, and it's now a 24-16 ball game. Still with plenty of time left on the clock. Play fake by Lawrence. Pressure was there, so he had to throw the football away. Elijah Canty was there. Surprised it's not ruled a intentional grounding. And then Tank Bigsby, pressure by the Colts too much. No room for any defenders to catch him. He gets all the way to the 20-yard line on a 50-plus yard run. And that might have just taken away the momentum from the Colts. Another first down to Travis Hunter. Inside the 5. Second and goal inside the 3. At the 2-yard line, pressure is there. Kicks it to Bigsby. And a bunch of blue jerseys are there to make the play. Third and goal. Under 6 minutes left to go, and wide open underneath is Travis Hunter into the end zone. And this game might at this point be out of reach. It was one-on-one coverage. Blackman was not on him. And now it's Colts possession, or Colts football, down by 15. Tight, tough throw. Not tight, but a tough throw by Daniel Jones to make on his back foot. And it's caught. And then the following play, he overthrows Josh Downs. Not a lot of time to work with, so Jones has to make some big time plays that will help. It's Michael Pittman who makes the catch. No touchdowns for Jones. He's got only 2 interceptions on the day. 47. Jags with some pressure. Passes intercepted again. For the 3rd time today. The 2nd time it's from this man here, Andrew Wingard, who's played some solid coverage today. Jones tried to make a play and Wingard simply just jumped the route in front of Tyler Warren. He was there the whole time. That's now interception number 14 thrown by Jones this season. And making worse, Brenton Strange completes the catch and then he's injured. On this play, favoring his back. 2nd and 8. Colts need to stop and they're not going to get it there. A wide open Travis Hunter completes the catch. And this game ultimately out of reach. Inside the 2-minute warning, 3rd and 4. Bigsby gets the ball and another 1st down. He's over 100 yards. You don't count that 50-yard reception or run he had earlier. Still got 50 yards, and then wide open up the middle is Brenton Strange again for his 2nd touchdown of the day. And also Trevor Lawrence's 5th on the game. And now we're down by 22. This game ultimately out of reach. Try to do what we can. There's under a minute left. Not a lot to really work with. As Jones will take the play action fake, try to fire it, and he finds Adonai Mitchell. He's had a lot of drops, but his first official catch of the day as they take it inside the 15. And then 2nd and 2, Jones will throw it into the end zone. It is caught by the backup the 3rd string tight end. How am I already forgetting names? But that's fine, we'll figure it out later. But at the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars torch us again. The score is a lot different though, 38-24, as the offense continues to turn the ball over. 3 interceptions thrown by Daniel Jones. And if we weren't out of the playoffs already, this officially eliminates us. As for Jacksonville, this doesn't help them clinch the AFC South, so a big win for them, as they are now playoff bound. But this is not necessarily a disappointing end to the season, because obviously we still have a game left, but not a game that we want to lose against our divisional rivals. Jones did not have a great game. Yardage wise, this is the best one he's had in a while, but the 3 interceptions kind of alienate that. Jonathan Taylor struggled. 22 touches, but only for 66 total yards. And again, we couldn't stop the run game from Jacksonville. Bigsby had over 100 yards, and Tutton was a lot better. Travis Hunter was their leading receiver, well, technically their 2nd leading receiver, because we couldn't stop anyone on their team from catching footballs. And again, somehow this Jacksonville Jaguars team in total just has our number. Rodney Thomas had a sack, but if he made that big tackle earlier, it's likely that the result could have been different. Something I don't show a lot though, we got a few upgrades. Jalen Jones ends up getting 2, despite him not really playing a huge role in this game. Josh Downs does get an upgrade, even though we haven't called his name a lot in the 2nd half of the year, late stage of the season. Adonai Mitchell, his first game back, he's gonna upgrade. We're gonna upgrade his physical, make him a little bit stronger in catching the football, because he wasn't making those key catches that I feel like he could have made. And Spencer Schrader, he hasn't had a lot of issues with kicking the football, but we'll upgrade his accuracy. And back in the press conference, Jonathan Taylor, obviously a little bit shaken up about the loss. He thought he would have played a lot better, especially with how he performed. He didn't perform up to par But Trevor Bailey is just going to take responsibility, say, hey, this is on us, mostly on me. Underestimated the Jaguars' defense, run defense especially. So we're just going to take responsibility. Not going to really praise Jonathan Taylor. He's had a great year. But around the league, start with our game against Jacksonville, and this game was completely one-sided. Again, I think this game was a lot more one-sided than the score suggests. But with this win, the Jacksonville Jaguars will clinch the AFC South. So a key victory for them. The Rams and the Falcons both even. The Rams are 9-6. The Falcons are 8-7. As it's a pick six near the sideline from a screenplay. He watched it all the way, and the Rams lose a key one, dropping to 9-7. The Falcons will sit at the same record, fighting in a tough, close NFC South division. And then finally the NFC North, the Vikings and Lions go head-to-head as Jared Goff finds his receiver near the sideline, near the pylon. I guess he's doing tricks in the end zone. But my glorious Vikings lose 23-17, a big loss for the Vikings this stage of the season, and it's being a divisional game. These matter. Around the league, I know I didn't look at the games from last week, but that's okay. The Houston Texans lose to the Chargers. We see the Pittsburgh Steelers lose a game to the Cleveland Browns. Tennessee best New Orleans. We also see Las Vegas lose to the Giants. And the Bears get thrashed at home on the road by San Francisco. Looking again at the playoff bracket, 49ers what? The Ravens are currently clinching the number 1 seed. As he mentioned, with the Jacksonville Jaguars winning last week against us, they clinched the playoffs and the division. This leaves only one true spot left, which we can't take. As for the NFC, it's a lot closer. There's 5 total spots left in the NFC in the last week of the 2025 season. How often does this happen in the NFC? I feel like this happens more in the NFC than the AFC. The NFC is less one-sided than you think. But that'll do it for this episode of Madden franchise. Next episode will be the final episode for season 1 against the Texans. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new to the channel, tell your friends. But until next time, this has been me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.